One.
Howdy folks. The long-awaited and often imitated but never duplicated sound demo of this cool guitar that I've converted and resurrected from the dead. I'm going to be playing it through this this is a Deluxe clone. This is actually like a early 5C3 with the 6SN7 SC7 tubes, etc. It's my tabletop amp. So I'm just going to do a little demo there. And just a couple of swing ideas. What I'd really like to do is have Adrianna Marie put the camera down and join me, and we'll just play a little bit of some T-Bone or some Charlie Christian or something like that, which is what this guitar really shines at, and it's playing fantastic. The setup, everything just came out great. Okay, we're gonna just do a little bit more of a little swing tune here for you. So now I'm going to start on getting the body ready. First thing is to remove all evidence of Kilroy. I'm just going to take a stiff brush and brush this out. Okay, that's better. Cleaned it out and glued a couple of these down. Let me just let that dry out. Alright. Next I'm going to go and cut me a maple plug here. Here's me clamping a patch over the patch to strengthen it from the inside using my $3 thrift store clamp. Man, I love this sucker. It's great. And there it is, and I'm going to glue the top on before I do any finish work on that. There's the patch in there. I got my Pilot toothpicks glued in there, letting those dry. And now I'm going to glue the top on as soon as this stuff dries up. Just a little commemoration, a little friendly advice, and of course, tribute to the sweetheart of the blues. Well, this is how I'm rolling this time. I'm going to glue the end block and the tail block. Make sure you got that bridge ground sticking out there. Glue those down and work my way around. Yeah. Hope I never have to work on the electronics ever in my life, ever. I literally used every single clamp, spool clamp. This is looking great. I love this part. It starts to look like a guitar. I'm getting excited now. I'm getting really, really excited here. Oh yeah. Alrighty, so I cleaned out the binding slot here with my trusty Stumac binding cutter. And now my word of advice with this is go slow. Make a couple of passes. Go easy and slow, especially when you're going cross grain like up here. And so I'm missing a couple of pieces of the original binding, which I am going to use. I am going to use the original binding, and there's a spot right here and another spot right over here. There's a couple of spots where there was binding missing. I'm just going to patch that in with some, I got some scrap that my friend, the Witness, gave me. And hopefully we're going to be able to patch this in really nicely with a piece from there. So we'll see. I'm getting ready to glue that binding on. Well, after the obligatory gnashing of teeth, 200 feet of masking tape, and 200 fluid ounces of Duco cement, I've got this pretty good. Alrighty, got that binding down. And like an idiot, I forgot to tape the top. So now the Duco cement is going to bleed in and eat the finish, but I don't care. I'm going to touch it all up anyway. Just more work for me. We'll see what it looks like when it dries. Okay, well, the devastation was not too bad, but I wish I'd taped it off. That one's ugly, but nothing I can't fix. I'm going to, you know, have to do all the touch-up, like I mentioned, around the binding and everything. So I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I'll get it going right. Next thing I'm going to do is glue this fingerboard on. I just want to plane that a little bit. It's just a little bit. Make sure it's perfectly straight there. Alrighty. Alright, got that cleaned out and ready to glue. Everything's ready to glue, man. Alrighty, old sweetie. Look at that. Alright, one last look. I got my, what do you call it? Pins. I don't know if a lot of people do that, and I put a little tribute to Miss Adrianna Marie and me. There's the other pin. Get ready, glue this sucker down. Oh yeah, you can see where I added the piece of wood there, where there was a huge, gaping, ever-widening kind of a hole there. Oh, jeez, all right. I know what you're thinking. How are you going to get this gold, this bright gold decal to match that decal there? In other words, how are you going to carry out your forgery? Stay tuned. I know what some of you else are saying. It's not original. It's not going to be original anymore. Well, nobody thought about it not being original when they cut that gaping hole in the belly there that I spent the last month scratching my head and patching. So, back to the problem at hand. I'll show you how I do it. StewMac sells this stuff. It's pretty damn good approximation. I could mix it, I'm sure. It's really just lacquer with a light brown tint to it. A lot of people think you got to put amber on everything. No, amber is not the right color oftentimes. Although on the binding it sure is. Now look at it. It's getting browner. See that? That's not amber, that's brown. I'm going to put several coats of that on there until it browns up. Looks get better already, doesn't it? Look at that. And the added bonus is when you put too much brown on it once, it crackles like crazy. I don't know if I'm going to be able to salvage this. I didn't follow the directions once again. Just let it dry, see what happens. Be patient. Well, it's a beautiful September 1st, late summer day here in St. Louis. And I've successfully, I believe, successfully glued this fingerboard back from whence it came. Yeah, got it glued down nice. You know, these I've had these StewMac band clamps for a long time. I liked them. This was before I worked for Guitar Center. And when I was working for Guitar Center, not too long ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I ordered some of these from StewMac because I remember how good they were. Well, they must have changed the plastic formula, of course. They're always changing crap. I don't mean StewMac, I mean the people in China and Asia in general. They're always making stuff cheaper. And the ones that I bought from StewMac made it through one fingerboard reglue, or was a neck break or something, and they just broke. Now these look a little stressed here, but they've been lasting a long time. So StewMac, if you're watching this, up your game. Get something better. Like these last. I mean, I don't think they're going to last forever, but they've lasted me about 10 fingerboard glue-ons and assorted neck breaks, and they're still going strong. So, onward. Well, that came out really well.
Let's see.
Before I
Here, let me see.
before I glue the binding on or do anything more, I'm going to take this rare opportunity to cut the fret slots extra deep so that future generations won't be cursing me out when they go to refret this guitar some year. Here's me clamping down the aged decal that somehow I got into the headstock in only 3 pieces. Now I'm clamping it down to hopefully get the crinkles out. Alrighty, I've glued the side on either side of the fingerboard, and now I've made and created a little end piece there. Now I'm going to get to work on this fingerboard. Whoo-wee, does it need work. But it's not a lot compared to what it's been through so far, so we just keep pushing ahead here. All right, we're winding down here. Got the binding on, mostly scraped down, still a little soft, so I gotta wait a day or two. Look at that forgery. Gotta make the piece for there, and then start on the refret. So far, so good. Okay, so making this replacement plastic that I burned because I'm a hack. You guys all know this trick where you take the pencil and you make the tracing, right? Okay, let's do it. Just like that. There, and you just glue that in and you're good to go. Just kidding. Once again, Hoopa Johnny reaches from beyond his final resting place. Bless his heart. He was a misunderstood eccentric. Kind of like Sid in Toy Story. Just glue that on there with my trusty tight bond and come back in an hour or two. Go and practice. While that is drying on the plastic, I'm going to come back here and clean this out. Make it nice and clean. That's so clean its mother won't know it. Now I've got that shape cut out and with my jeweler saw and shaped on the belt sander. Now I take a piece of rosewood in my trusty file and I just collect some nice rosewood dust down here, which I'm going to use for filling those grooves and also for putting the inlay in there. Okay, got that fit in there nicely. It's a little bit whiter. These are a little bit yellow, but we'll put a little amber lacquer on there or some aged lacquer or something. Mother of toilet seat. And here's my rosewood filler. Epoxy and rosewood dust. And Mary says bye-bye to the cowgirl cord scars. For now, at least. Alrighty, catching up on here a little bit. Got some nice new binding on that side. Part of the camera work. Nice binding all the way up. Got the fretboard cleaned up. Got the cowgirl cord scars filled in. Some layers in this plastic that are whatever, you know. I'm gonna next I'm gonna check the level, how level the fretboard is, and then I'm gonna get my fret slot cleaner, clean all these slots out, and start hammering in some frets. Alrighty. Alright, once again, I know I've done refrets on other videos, but this is your first time watching. So what I've done here is, of course, I filed the fret slots extra deep before the binding was on there. Filled in some of these scarring from the cowgirl cords, replaced this, little update here, and then I put just a smidgen, maybe not even a quarter turn tension on the truss rod, and then I've leveled this on 3 planes, so down the center and on either side I've got it leveled. And there is, of course, on arch tops and other guitars, there's a slight drop off of boat rampage here, not much, very little bit. So now I'm just going to clean the fret slots out, and I'm going to start banging frets into this sucker this weekend. So basically what I'm doing here is cleaning out the binding glue that got in there, that squeezed in there, and when I'm done with that, I'm going to get it to 400, 220, then 400, and then I'm going to go back and re-clean all these slots real quick. I'm not going to go crazy showing every step of a refret on here. I've done that on other videos, but I don't know if you can see that. But that's what you want to see. You don't want to see any tang when you're looking at the frets that you banged in there. And I'm skipping around because I'm superstitious. I don't want to do any fret-induced back bow. No fret-induced back bow. I want this to be store level. Now I want to show you something. And don't get me wrong, I like StewMac. They make a lot of really cool stuff that I don't want to make. But here's their fret end nippers. And I noticed they got this nice, I've had these forever. And I've noticed they got this nice, this is heat shrink. I've built enough amps to know what heat shrink is. Now watch what happens when I apply my knife to that heat shrink. Stay tuned. Well, throw me away for a catfish tail. It's a Klein Tools part number 76011B from Chicago. StewMac, I like your shit, but middleman much?
Go.
Okay, for those of you that have been following along, I figured I'll show you one fret the way I install a fret. Because I've been getting some people asking, why do you put the binding on first and then the frets? Okay, so what I do is, first thing I do is I measure the fret and I cut it to just slightly beyond the line of where I want it to go. And then I take this thing that I already unmasked from StewMac. This is actually a Klein tool, not a StewMac. It's a Klein tool end nibbler. And I cut those two ends off like that. And then I bring it over to my small vise. I hold it in there like that. Take my file and just kind of clean up the remnants of the tang on either side. Alright, and then I go back over here and I take my trusty tube of super glue. This is one of the few things that I use super glue for, and I'll show you why. First of all, it does hold the ends down nicely. You just kind of run it in there like that. So it also shows when, then I grab my trusty fret hammer, and it shows when the fret is properly seated. So you just see how when it gets down, you can see the edge of the glue where it comes out. So then you know it's properly seated. I'm not banging hard at all. I'm letting the hammer do the work. I'm tapping it in. And then I grab a little bit of this white paper and clean off the glue. And then I check the end there to see if I can see any tang there. It looks like there might be just a little tang here. That's right. I want to see there's a little bit right there still showing. And then I check and see, and it looks like that is well seated in there. Alrighty. Alright, now I've got these banged in as best I can. And now, time to trim the ends off with my trusty, well, look at that, another Klein tool. How do you like them apples? Now, with my handy homemade StewMac copy and this, I'm going to file those edges all down. All right, got those edges flush to the sides, on both sides. Now, I'm going to take a little break and I'm going to put dots in there, side dots for us poor, deprived lefties. Trying to keep up with the righties, right? Right. Okay, now that I've got the dots installed, I can carry on with the fretting, which the next step is I'm going to bevel these edges here. Okay, that's where I want it. Beveled edges. Okay, now I've marked the top of the frets with a black marker. A luthier pen. Now I'm going to file them, starting this way and working towards the body in 3 planes, the edge, the middle, and the other edge. I'm going to flatten all those tops so they're, but always work from the nut to the body. And Sugar the dog will be supervising this musical outing here. Ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.